Okay, so let's fast forward here a little bit. I think we're already there. Working with AMP. So how did that opportunity come about? And what was it like in the early days working for AMP? Because for those who don't know, Omar worked with him early stages, very early stages. Not anymore, but we'll get into that as well. But yeah, how was it? You know, how'd that opportunity come about?
Um, Production needs. They needed production needs pretty doggone badly. Um, and production needs were small back then. Like, can you, keep the batteries charged? Make sure that the cameras are here. Make sure that the SD cards are clear, and make sure if we need a chair or two for whatever prop that we're doing or a whistle or whatever, can you get it for us? So I mean, that's truly what I did. It was stuff that small, and I would just go pick it up. I would pick it up or just charge them here, um, because they were forgetting these things. These things just weren't being, happening during that time. They were really doing it. They were doing a lot of stuff, just grab and go or cowboy style. Like it was very loose back then. Hell, Toasted. I think Agent flew Toasted down to Atlanta one time to be a cameraman. It was
Yeah,
Toasted.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, like back then they were doing stuff just kind of off the strength of like connections. Davis knew somebody with a gym. It was simple back then. Um,
But how did you get that opportunity? Was it like like agent had a need, low reached out type shit, or?
so Agent had mentioned something to my brother about it. He was like, "Yo, I mean, would Omar be down?" My brother, nah, nah. He asked him again. My brother still, nah, nah. And then somewhere in some video, there might not even have been a video that made the channel. It had gotten to a point where it was like, okay, this is just we just need one person consistently to help outside of this collective. Agent just straight up asked me, sure. I don't even know what's going on. I don't. He sent like a simple text message or something like that, or we just had a quick 15-minute phone call. Yeah, just get the cameras, charge them, be at my house, da 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 da, and we'll record a video. First video might have even been in the AMP house, and we just sat in there, recorded the video, cameras. Me still not really knowing what's going on,
Mhm.
for real, for real. But that's how it started. They had a super need for production. Agent finally hit me and was like, "Yo, do this. Bring the cameras, charge the batteries, whatever the case may be." And that's how it started.
Okay. So I mean, clearly you said that the AMP situation was a very big turning point for you to seeing the vision of what content creation could be. I remember the first time I went down to Atlanta to for a playback trip and how eye opening that whole experience was. So for you working with AMP, what were some of the things that like really like I guess shocked you in terms of what content creation could be? Um, how the best of the best do it, like stuff like that that you didn't know prior.
I can't even say because at that point I still didn't necessarily like know about the money. Know about the money. I know probably by the time the next 2K came out, whenever I started the next 2K is when I started hearing like, oh, 67, 70,000. Well, probably at that time more, but 70,000, $80,000 a month, off of just the game dropping and us just dropping our videos on the game. Me.
Hold on.
Hey, oh, wait. Oh, you must not know what you done started. Wait a minute. Um, but I think once I got into it, I like to be prepared. I'm a decently prepared person. So I'm gonna start doing some research. And so I started just YouTube and Googling, figuring things out, figuring what doorways were open, just opening my eyes just a little bit more. Sometimes at that point in time, I was still school oriented. So it was like
Mhm.
my thing was getting back into school so I could get my degree. And this was just so I can get some extra money on the side. And then once I got my degree, I was gonna get into my job. But sometimes you just open your eyes just a little bit more. I try to tell people don't be so narrow minded. I don't think there was one specific moment that made me just open my eyes a little bit more, but it was just everything was happening so fast. The lights were just so bright. You had to kind of open your eyes and take it all in, low key.
Hmm. That's interesting because I just remember, at least for me, when I went to Atlanta, just the level of work ethic that it took for people who were doing this full time was very eye opening to me. I think it opened my eyes to what I needed to be at to make this a full time thing, and what my lifestyle would look like if I were to go into this full time. Because I know you know this. This was at a point where I was still in college and I was still trying to figure out like what path I wanted to go to. So that trip was very like a monumental point to me in terms of like, oh, this shit is possible. Like I am around people, like got people's phone numbers that have provided a lifestyle this lavish through the internet, through content creation. So that really motivated me. And one of the things I loved about our first Let's Keep It a Buck Atlanta trip was seeing Sage and Damo experience the same thing. Cause it was like, oh, I'm glad they felt very similar things. But you didn't have a moment like that with AMP.
But see, yours was house 2. House 1 was very much, and mind you, I shouldn't even say house 1. House 0 was when I first got into the fold. House 0 was the house that my brother and agent stayed in.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew my brother, quote unquote, worked all the time. But from back then, this is before they had an official AMP house. You came in on the official AMP house. That was your first trip, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
Back then, the appearance was I'm sleeping till half of the day. I'm getting up. I'm recording my 2K video. I'm recording my NBA video. I might have maybe one other channel. And then I am sleeping for the rest of the day, just watching YouTube for the rest of the day. These were people who didn't get up like that. AMP would come into town once a month. We would spend like a Saturday and a Sunday recording a couple of videos or whatever the case may be. And that was kind of like, okay, this is like what work ethic looked like. But even then, it was still very relaxed. We would take 8 hours to get a 30-minute video that was wrestling in the park.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like it would take a long time for that. And then other than that, it was still very relaxed. House 1 is probably where things turned up a notch, and that's where you came in. So I can acknowledge it. House 1 was like everybody, kind of got to get out of 2K, 2 channels, 3 channels, vlog channels, streaming. I got ad deals. That's when their celebrity, I think, took off more. And that's when shit probably hit the fan as far as like expanding.
Okay. No, that's definitely fair. That's definitely fair. Do you have any funny, memorable stories from your time during AMP that you want to share that you haven't shared before, ideally?
That I haven't shared before, ideally.
Yeah, it could be, because I think AMP now is very different from what AMP back then was, at least just from the outside looking in. So maybe if there's even a story that kind of encapsulate what the group was back then compared to now, type shit. I don't know.
I think that so back then, like I said, it was very run and gun, fly by the seat of the pants. People didn't know what was coming just yet. So there was one time where I think we were filming the Squid Games video. It was the end of the Squid Games video. There was a specific scene where we drove in like a van, and like Duke hopped out, got thrown out as if he just won Squid Games and then he's got the money. But so we drove up to a gas station, and it was like all of AMP, all the cameramen, AIM, me, and we're at a gas station. It's like 3 a.m. and we're just kicking it. We probably spend a good 30 or 40 minutes getting snacks, chilling in the parking lot. Some people came from a party. We're, talking to them or whatever the case may be. Had the music bumping. Very, very chill vibe. And then the mayor of Atlanta's son came to the gas station. Sounds crazy. Came to the gas station and was like, yo, you AMP. And I think he was pointing at Kai. He was either pointing at Kai or Duke and was like, you AMP. Let me take a picture real quick. Took the photo, dapped up. It was like, Yo, we got a party going on, da 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 da. Hit my line, da 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 da. Drove off. But I think in that story, it was just a very like, chill moment that really encapsulated that these are just guys coming together from different backgrounds, teenagers that are still, you know, just having fun making content or whatever the case may be.
Mhm.
And I would still say, even though the Squid Games video was big, even though videos put out before that were big or whatever the case may be, that kind of encapsulated the calm before the storm. Like, you didn't know who Kai was. He was just AMP, but now he's who he is now, his own face, his own brand. The AMP brand is bigger. All of them are recognizable by face and name. Super Bowl ads, Super Bowl, but just T-Mobile ads, big ads like this, Jordan brand partners, all this, that, and the third.
Mhm.
And all of it started with, you know, 6 guys, a cameraman, and like a little vision or whatever.